We have left alone deals because of ethics. We have not gone unethical into some things, even though we have seen more profit into that. And we have very very strong principles, and that has come because of my father. And he's never stopped me doing it, but I've always seen him practicing so much of strong ethics. And it started with fear of disappointing my father, but now it
Yeah.
is in my blood. I can see that I cannot do unethical stuff.
Hi guys, welcome to the Yash Desai podcast. We hustle all our life to get a dream home. I mean, a dream home is a really big thing for a common man. And the person I have on the podcast today, he has embarked on this journey to make our dream, come true. His dream is to make our dream come true. That is what exactly he said when we were just discussing about this podcast. It's really amazing to have him on the podcast. Who knows the who's a who of the real estate industry and the world. He knows everything surrounding real estate and, of course, surrounding life. So please welcome Mr. Sharvil Shridhar on the Yash Desai podcast.
Thank you, Yash bhai. It's a great opportunity that you're given to be on your podcast, and I've heard your few songs, and I'm quite a bit of a fan of your
Oh,
voice.
thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
so
So
much,
I'm
Sharvil
glad
bhai.
to be here on your podcast. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharvil bhai. I was just wondering the other day that जिस हिसाब से हम लोग आजकल करे जा रहे थे पॉडकास्ट में, I really wanted to have you on the podcast. Reason being that I have seen my city develop from where it was, let's say, 10-15 years back to where it is now.
Yes.
Every street that we go through, and every area that we just drive along,
Yes.
that has really inspired me in a way. And it's always lovely to see the board of A Sridhar everywhere now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's quite a compliment.
So that had a lot of questions to me, always when I used to see that. Now, as I have this opportunity of probably sitting down with you and record that in terms of a podcast, I would really like to know that where did this idea started. I mean, to make homes and to make commercial estates and everything that you're doing right now.
Right. So I did my education in this field. And when I came back, I had no idea that I would be developing a firm which would do so much of construction business in the future. My father was into the business of land investment and trading, and he was doing it very successfully. Had I actually just joined him, probably we would have been able to make more money because that business is such that has given fantastic returns. But I think the kind of brand and the kind of fame and the kind of people that I have touched upon, I think
Correct.
that satisfaction and that feeling, I'm very grateful that I made the decision of getting into this. And this is something which I am passionately doing it, and I'm loving the work that I'm doing it. So I think it started a little bit due to my education, and then when I joined my father's business for about a few months, I didn't find the creativity in the land investment trading business, and the idea of not being able to create something or not being able to use my exposure of my education. And I think that's what kind of helped me to get into this business. And my father's business of land, that is the first step towards
Correct.
getting into real estate development. So that is
Correct.
the first thing that you need to buy, and
Yeah.
then you start developing. So I think obviously the support of my father has been phenomenal, and we've been able to create a very meaningful developer firm today.
Thoughtfully something, right? That's
Yeah,
the motto of your.
so we used to say, because we used to focus a lot on the plan. A lot of people focus on how successful a project can be in terms of money. I
Yeah.
always rated how successful the project is on the basis of planning,
Correct.
and that is why we always say building thoughtfully.
Yes.
And
Sorry.
now we have just added a tagline. We say building thoughtfully with a personal touch, because there
Wow.
is always a little bit of personal touch involved in whatever we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really shows, in every project that you have done so far in the city.
Right.
Me being born and raised in Ahmedabad, I have seen the city grow. I mean, grow from a city that did not have a riverfront to have it now,
Yeah.
which is a world-class achievement in
Absolutely.
itself.
Yeah.
We are the first heritage city, and bunch of accolades and achievements that this city has.
Yes.
So I've seen the structure go from like a very suburb city to a very modern mega city that our city has developed into.
Yes.
And certainly the way that A Shridhar Group so far has understood the requirement of a common man, requirement of of a person who is here to do his or her business, in terms of buying an office or buying a commercial showroom or any of those things.
Right.
You guys cater somebody from, let's say, who has gathered all his money to invest into a property,
Correct.
to somebody who's already well established and probably putting up their showrooms and everything.
Right.
So you have seen all the stratas and all the segments of customers here,
Yes.
and you're catering all of them, which
True.
itself is a big achievement, let
Yeah,
me tell you.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Right.
So of course, like it's wonderful that you started off this thing, and you had this thing in mind that your education should play an important role somewhere down the line in growing up this community or growing up this group eventually. So I mean, what is the thing that goes behind, like when you, let's say, acquire a land, you get this plan getting ready, and then you process this plan through legal hustle and eventually selling the property.
Yes.
So if you can just help us understood the entire process, because it's a
Yeah.
very wholesome and a tiresome process, which I think people would be interested in.
Yeah. Sure. I think it starts from getting proposal of lands from various consultants or through various sources. And obviously, we do have a clear frame of mind in which areas we want to work on, which are the areas that are developing fast, or which are the areas that has a good demand. What kind of product should we develop? That is the kind of things we constantly keep doing a survey on. And
Okay.
in the starting of the year, we make a roadmap. Obviously, then you get opportunities where you have not planned, and then suddenly they attract you, and then you do it, and those come your way. So it starts from the survey. Then obviously, once you buy the land, you go through the legal process. We have a very strong legal team, because my father has been practicing land business
Yeah.
from about, say, 30 plus years.
Okay.
And he has a very, very strong concrete team. And obviously, we have external consultants, advocates who help us going through in deeper searches.
Yeah.
So once we have a clear title and once everything, there is a go ahead, the first thing that I do is I create a business plan where we check out the viability of the project and
Correct.
create a plan for us, and just to make sure how lucrative it would be and what kind of returns we can expect, and what could be the contingency plan in case of there is a failure in terms of a response.
The exit plan.
I wouldn't say
Sort
an
of.
exit plan, but like what kind of extra expenses you would have to do, or what kind of say you would have decided a cash flow, and you would have thought of that, okay, we'll be selling 20 to 30% of the inventory at pre-launch stage, and then maybe another 20% at the launch stage, and then during construction you would sell about another 20 to 30%, and the last 20% it would be at the time of possession. So
Correct.
that has been the average, that how we have done our sales. But say there is one of our product which couldn't perform that way, and at the pre-launch stage we could sell only about 5 to 10%, and at the launch stage we could sell about another 10-15%. So it didn't go
Correct.
our way, so obviously it disturbed our cash flow, and there needs to be a contingency plan. There needs to be a second bypass plan, that how you still manage the land payments. You don't want to be wrong to your commitments.
Yeah.
You don't want to be wrong to your vendors, and you don't want to be wrong to your customers.
Certainly.
So we do plan to that detail, and once all that planning is done, and once we have finalized the land buying, Then comes the little bit of a hard part, which is government NOCs, because that takes painfully long time now.
Yeah.
And the number of NOCs are increasing day by day. I think from our CREDI body, which is a
Yeah.
developers body, we have been pushing very hard to have a single window. And
Yes.
a lot of other good industries have this. And this industry is almost second to agriculture in terms of providing employment.
Correct.
And it needs a lot of attention from government. And I think government has made significant steps to it.
Yes.
But I think a single window clearance is something which has been pending from a long time. But that is the painful part. It takes a long time. And once that is done, then comes the fun part, which is sales and developing it.
Yeah.
And, that's where my passion comes in. That's where
Yeah.
I actually love doing it. So, yeah, that's how the story is for a project.
Yeah. So it's certainly like a long and hassle part that you talked about again. But again, coming down to the fun part here, that, you love building and constructing all these things. So let's say there are different verticals when you're making a home.
Correct.
There's an exterior thing, there is an interior thing, and small amount of this tedious work we call plumbing, and we call electric wiring, and putting up tiles and everything.
Yes.
Once the plan is ready, once the
Yes.
construction is ready, and of course making proper interior uske baad we given for showroom
Correct.
show apartment or something like that, and then we eventually sell this. But during this, what goes behind your mind? Is it you're making a home for your own self, when you're probably giving up this preposition when you're making a residential scheme, and let's say for commercial it is like commercial thing, we have seen most of the things being made for residential
Right.
thing to make people feel like home, and
Yeah.
eventually to buy it out. So
Right.
what's your mindset there?
I have been practicing this for quite a long time. I tend to write down and visualize things. So say, for example, so we are into all segments of real estate in terms
Yeah.
of we are doing affordable segment, we are doing mid segment housing, we are doing upper segment, the luxury segment. And then we have bungalows, we have plots, we have weekend villas, and we have commercial. So we are into all facets of real estate.
Yeah.
So when you are designing a particular product, say for example, you're designing a affordable segment home. So you have to think like a user, and you have to visualize 24 hours how I would stay in this apartment, what would be my requirements, what kind of amenities I would like. Obviously, a person who is moving into this apartment is looking for an upgraded lifestyle. That is the
Yeah.
first thing. It is no more about buying a new property or buying a new asset. It is more about you want to upgrade your lifestyle.
Correct.
And it's more about how beautiful the spaces have been developed, and
Yeah.
what are the basic requirements of that particular segment. So say for example, a mid segment would have a different requirement than a luxury segment in terms of, say for example, the luxury segment would require say 2 kitchens, that there is
Correct,
a concept
yeah.
that there is one kitchen which is more of a show kitchen, and the other is another kitchen which we usually call the Maharaj kitchen,
Correct.
where you have the cook who comes in and he
Yeah.
cooks there. And that is a very particular requirement that a luxury segment demands for. Say for example, in mid segment, this is not the requirement. They have a basic requirement where they want all the common spaces to be very well lit, because
Correct.
that is the space where majority of the time the family is spending time.
Yeah.
Whereas in the luxury segment, people are spending more times in the bedrooms. So
Correct.
probably they want bigger bedrooms. Common spaces matter, but probably they matter more to the affordable or the mid segment,
Yeah.
because that is where the entire family is spending time. They are probably it is the working class, and they are spending most of the day at their office. So when they come back home, they want to spend 1.5 hour with the family in the common space, and then just crash into the bedroom.
Yeah.
So bedroom space probably matters a little less. So you have to visualize. I usually write down an entire story from sunrise to say when I'm all the way going to sleep. And we have also got tremendous feedbacks from our past customers, and
Okay.
that has helped us in innovating new designs. And we have been bold enough to take a few calls where, as a conservative developer, I probably wouldn't have taken a call. Say, for example, in one of our project, we had a restriction of area, so we couldn't develop more than 90
Yeah.
square meters apartment,
Okay.
and we could only give one balcony because of the area restriction. And we took a very brave call of giving that balcony to a bedroom rather than to a drawing room. And
Oh, okay.
because there was a feedback that the who uses the balcony the most, and the balcony is used by smokers. It's
Yeah.
used by husband and wife for a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
And it's a nice standing place. So
It's a little private
it's a
time
nice,
that they
nice
spend.
cozy
you know?
place,
Yeah.
which so it's an intimate place. I'll put it that way, right? A
Correct.
quiet, privacy, cozy place is what you're looking for. Now, when you're talking about a drawing room, it's a common space.
Yeah.
So, say for example, a person who is staying with his parents, he probably cannot smoke into a common
Correct.
balcony. He cannot have. He probably may feel shy to have a cup of coffee with his wife in front of his parents.
Yeah.
He cannot have an intimate time there.
Yeah.
So we realized this could be a game changer, and we took this bold step. Our entire team was shocked that, so what are you saying? I mean, I've never seen an apartment where the balcony is in the bedroom and not in a drawing room or a
Yeah.
living room. And we got tremendous success. So this input came from a customer.
Okay.
And we actually took the bold step of just implementing it. So, a lot of this plans, they come from feedbacks of our customers from past projects.
Yeah.
So planning is a fantabulous process, and I just love it. I enjoy it. I've worked with various architects, and that has also helped me because I've learned something or the other from each of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like a journey going on and on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these are like so many minute details that you talked about.
Correct.
Like I have never met somebody who thinks in this detail.
Right.
Probably that's why we see the budding areas coming up with a Shridhar board now in Ahmedabad. But the good thing about this, you understand you understand the emotion of your target audience. I think that is really very important. Let's say
Yes.
when we make content in terms of, as content creators, the kind of same research that we do, where let's say when you're making a song, a lot of thing goes behind making that one song.
Yes.
जो हर एक कैटेगरी के लोग सोसाइटी में सुने.
Yes.
People are already stressed about different things in life.
True.
And if I am also, making something which is going to give them even more stress, I'm failing as an artist there.
True.
Same way, you are catering somebody, and you're promoting stress-free living in a way.
Yeah.
You're promoting, you're giving them an idea of how a dream house looks like, and with this inputs that you said, I think that is the real game changer here.
Absolutely.
And that's just beautiful to learn this thing that coming from your way altogether.
Yeah, very important thing you said, that it's very important to have a stress-free product.
Yeah.
And everybody is going through some of the kind of stress in their life, and you don't want your product to add to that stress. And
Correct.
that is why we have a in-house maintenance department where see, basically these are all mechanized things, and they are going to give you a hard time sometime or the other later. So we have a in-house plumber, a in-house carpenter, in-house electrician, and we are using a third-party app for any kind of maintenance that is required. Within 24 hours, we have our team who will take care of it. And this is valid for even projects which have been completed even beyond 5 years or 6 years. So it is not
Okay.
because of any compliance that we are doing it. It is the idea to stay in touch with the customers. Second, you are giving them the confidence that we are there. If something
Yeah.
happens, we are not just going to say कि अच्छा ये warranty खत्म हो गया, time खत्म हो गया. We'll give you the service. We'll give you at a subsidized rate. If you are going to call it from some expensive app, like say, I don't want to say a name because
That's okay.
but say you are calling from any expensive app, then they're going to charge you say about 1,000 rupees, and probably we're going to charge you only about 300, 400 rupees.
Okay.
So that's how subsidized it is, and we are really trying to take care of the customers, and that is what has helped. Almost 20 to 30% of our bookings in new projects, they come from references of our past customers.
Okay.
And that is such
A
an
big thing, yeah, a big thing.
accomplishment for us.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is like, I'm really glad to have this conversation going around
Yeah,
because, ये इतनी छोटी चीज़ है. अभी आपने बोला कि आप प्रॉब्ली सर्विस जो एक घर में चाहिए बहुत ही कॉमन सर्विस है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल नाउ लेट्स से अ फैमिली जहाँ पे बच्चे बाहर पढ़ रहे हैं,
Right.
प्रॉब्ली माँ बाप है हु इज़ प्रॉब्ली एट अ स्टेज और एट एन एज इन देयर लाइफ कि वो दोनों रिटायर्ड है, अच्छे से रह रहे हैं. फॉर देम just to get this thing is a very major plus point.
Absolutely.
Because even for the kids, the stress-free living that we really talk about here. So वो एक चीज add on करता है वो चीज में.
True, absolutely.
कि जितना भी it's just no more about selling homes. It's
Yes.
about selling experiences that
Yeah.
we are talking about here now.
Yeah.
Especially in the city like ours, right, which is booming at an exponential rate in terms of real estate. Now again, talking about a city that is growing at an exponential rate. Apart from residents, you are also into the commercial properties as well. So now the thought process of a commercial buyer would be very much different than of a residential buyer.
Absolutely.
So probably, the question would be around that: what does this group do, or what does Sharvil Shridhar do to cater that audience?
Correct.
Because वो एकदम ही different category of audience है.
Right. So first of all, I think it's the location that matters. You have to see where the corporate demand is. And the first project that we did was in the city center. So we had opportunities to do a commercial project at Rajpath Road, at Bhopal Amli. This is about 5-7 years back.
Yeah.
And those were future development areas. And what we realized was that for businessmen, they are staying in this west part of the Ahmedabad. But for the people who are the employees who are working at their offices, they are usually staying at the east part of Ahmedabad. And the kind of travel time it takes for them to come to these areas is humongous.
Yeah.
And, it creates a lot of trouble for the entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I think city center is one convenience where it is a midway location for both. And we realize that is the place where corporates would have a more demand. And that's why we identified a location, which was a city center. It was close to a jewelry hub, which is called Shivranjani. Yeah. And, that was another thing. We didn't want to, not against restaurants or cafes or spas or gyms, but I feel that I wanted to create a nice corporate building. And retail brands like jewelries or high-end fashion stores is something which I was always aspiring for. And even during COVID, when we had a tough time selling real estate with commercial projects, we were not attracted by offers from this kind of businesses. We stick to our plan. We stick to the principles and we had committed to our customers who had bought offices with us that we will only get very premium retail outlets. We will not give it to the small time restaurants or to gyms and spas. We will make this a very premium building. And people loved it. And small requirements like, so a lot of people in a commercial building used to have common conferences rooms and common banquet areas which were hardly being utilized.
Correct.
So during our survey we realized what people actually want is very good maintenance team, because they don't have time in offices to maintain common premises. They want good services in terms of if they could save space on their pantry, and if they could have a common cafeteria where they can just order tea or coffee or some kind of light snacks, light meals on the phone.
Yeah.
And if they have a guest, then they don't have to prepare the tea or snacks at their own office.
Yeah.
Then they are saving on the pantry space. So we got a centralized pantry where we could cater to the entire office building.
Yeah.
Third thing which was very highly utilized or highly required, which we also highly required, is a stationery and a photocopy shop. So any
Correct.
corporate who is working, they would require a good stationery shop nearby. And we created one inside our building, which is operated by us. So anything related to photocopying or printing or like, stationery, we have it within the building. So these are the kind of small things that we cater to. And the most important of all, usually say about most projects have a ratio of one car parking to 1000 square feet. We are giving 2 car parks to 600 square feet offices,
Okay.
which is probably the
That's-
highest in the city right now.
It's twice in 50%.
Oh yeah, twice than
Almost.
50%. So that was our biggest winner. People were so attracted. Acha, yaar, I can park. Even a 600 square feet office owner could park 2 cars.
Yeah.
And we were the first building at that time in Ahmedabad to have 4 basements. So and out of that, 3 basements were double height, so you could stack your car.
Yeah.
So they were equivalent to 7 basements.
Correct.
And tons of parking in a city center building. So I think those are the kind of points which helped us getting an edge over our competitors or over products which were offered in the surrounding. So yeah, we even for commercial projects, we have gone to the depth of trying to visualize what a customer would need in a building. Yeah.
That's probably the nicest part here, because 2 different categories of customer with 2 different pockets.
Right.
Again, and 2 different problems altogether, and
Correct.
you being thinking various things about these problems and giving it out to them. That really shows the passion and the love that you have for this thing that you're doing. It's just lovely to just listen this thing going around right here, because एक office owner जो है, एक entrepreneur जो है, वो again talking about stress, वो हर रोज कुछ ना कुछ stress से गुजरता है. Today let's say some meetings are not happening, or some projects they were supposed to close, वो close नहीं हुआ, and lot of things, when you take out, when you're doing business and when you're probably striving hard in your business, a lot of things just goes behind in and out. So this small things just adds value to that thing. जब मैं for example अगर मैं एक end consumer हूँ, अगर मेरा कोई ऑफिस है और मुझे ये सब facilities already मिल रही है, तो वो मैं एकदम easy going हो जाऊंगा वो चीज़ में, कि ना ही मुझे एक रिसोर्स रखना पड़ेगा एक्स्ट्रा पेंट्री वाले के लिए, ना ही मुझे एक वो बार बार झंझट लगी कि गाड़ी पार्क कहाँ करनी है, ये कहाँ करना है, ऊपर रखूँ नीचे रखूँ. तो वो एक ईजी और स्ट्रीमलाइन प्रोसेस हो जाता है अगेन. And again, your very good decision of I've seen one of your building which is called Athens, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
At the Shivranni Road.
Correct.
Now that building, वो मुझे याद है कि वो building जो अभी एथेंस है, वो पड़ता है बाजू में एक सोसाइटी जो थी. I used to learn music there with my Guruji. So he resides in that society. So वो एक probably I used to go once or twice a week, like every week. तो मुझे पता है कि वहाँ की सड़कें या वहाँ के रोड्स दे वर सो नैरो. राइट. नाउ व्हेन आई गो डाउन दैट लेन, और जब मैं वो बिल्डिंग देखता हूँ, तो it has shaped up so well. Now I can literally feel comfortable in parking my car if I want to, let's say, go and buy a jewelry out at that particular brand which is down there in that building.
Correct.
So that's as a customer, it is a USP again.
Absolutely.
तो अगर customer happy है तो commercial owners भी happy रहेंगे. तो वो भी एक vertical जो I think आपने सोचा ही होगा. And वो दिखता है वो चीज में.
Correct. True.
So again, this is lovely to just get this insight from residentials and commercials and everything. Now coming down to the future residences, like you said कि भाई जितने भी एरियाज आप पहले उसको मे बी रेकी करते हो कि भाई क्या डेवलप होने वाला है, क्या होगा. एंड अगेन coming down at the end of the day, you are also making money doing this, and this is your bread and butter. So at no cost you would also not want to function in losses eventually. So what is the exact thing that that goes behind where you are probably doing Reiki for these areas and planning your next investments once one property is closed?
Correct.
Or probably on the edge of getting closed.
Correct.
Or probably at 50% closed, तभी आपने plan बना दिया होगा कि ये खरीदते हैं, ये plans यहाँ पे होगा. This is my future projection for the next 5 or 10 years that is coming down to the city.
Correct.
So how do you just make up your mind in doing that?
I think it is very important to start making your next investment while you are doing your project. And for that, you have to constantly keep analyzing the market.
Yeah.
You don't want to overdo it and overload yourself. I mean, right now we are doing about 18 or 19 projects,
Oh God, that's
and
good.
yeah, and still everything is very, very calm. We are very sorted because we have very good processes. We have got a excellent team. We are very organized, and it has taken time for us to reach here.
Yeah.
But coming back to your question, so we keep analyzing the market. We keep seeing the demands, and we keep talking to people who are associated in this industry, like the brokers, the customers, our investors, a lot of bank officials, because they are the ones who are approached by customers for home loans, and we try to understand from
Yeah.
them what kind of demands or what kind of customers who are opting for home loans more. Is it the affordable segment? Is it the high end segment? Is it the commercial segment? Is it the mid segment? So I stay in touch with all the fraternities of real estate, and I keep on understanding the market at all times. And that is where we keep on deciding that, okay, acha, I think we should next plan for a mid segment project, because that is where the demand seems to be more.
Yeah.
And let's start focusing on a land parcel or an area where we can do a project in that segment, so that's how our antennas are ready to grab those kind of opportunities. And we whenever we find the right proportion of good feasibility, good location, and obviously the planning has to be right. It's not just about feasibility. When there is a combination of all three elements, that's when we go ahead with the project.
This sounds nice. And I
Yeah.
guess the most important part that you talk about here is getting the right partners for your property.
Right.
Partners in the sense, who's just gonna help you, of course, sell those properties, but at the same time, put the right preposition and the right offering in terms of the brand name that they are proposing to the end consumer.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Agree.
I guess one such partners would be brokers.
Yeah.
So how important are those entire realty इंडस्ट्री ब्रोकिंग वाला, वो कितना इम्पोर्टेंट होता है एक प्रोजेक्ट को सेल आउट करने में, या एक प्रोजेक्ट को एंड कंज्यूमर सही तरह से कंसीव करे?
करेक्ट करेक्ट
उस चीज में हाउ डज दैट हेल्प?
I think they are a very, very important and integral part of our industry now. And see, if I'm a customer, I would, instead of approaching a developer straight up, I would any day prefer to go to a realtor or a broker, because
करेक्ट.
he would guide me what is suiting my requirement. Second, he would have the knowledge of what kind of projects are there in those area, who are the developers who are offering, which developer is right, which is a good brand, which brand has good ethics.
Yeah.
It is not just about price. And just when you started the podcast, you very beautifully put it up that this is such an important emotion that is attached, because probably you are buying this product or home once in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And you're putting all your hard-earned money for most of the people.
Yeah. Correct.
This is a dream home, right?
Correct.
So you don't want to get into wrong hands and then later on suffer कि यार चलो deal तो अच्छा मिल गया, but then now we are suffering for the entire life. So it is the brokers or the realtors who are educating the customer and showing them the right product for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes this has been a very unorganized industry, and
Correct.
the broking industry has had its limitations and has had its bad share of unorganized practices. But I think which industry doesn't have those kind of
Correct.
things? You have to look at the positive part. Right now the industry is going through a very, very nice transformation, and a lot of this realtors, just like in the developers, we have the younger generation who has stepped in.
Yeah.
Even the realtors have new second generation. There are a lot of young guys who want to make a mark. They want to be very professional. They come from very corporate backgrounds, and they found this industry to be very attractive. It's a industry where you can actually make more money if you focus
Yeah.
well. And they've created amazing impact.
And they've already, I guess, they've already done an organized way of functioning in this sector.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, that's the beauty of it. जो unorganized sector था, अभी भी है, काफी unorganized
it is,
है, but
yeah.
ये there are a couple of realtors and the you know, companies of realtors जो बहुत ही organized way में करते हैं, and people trust the companies now, and
Yes.
in a way कि भाई मेरे को अगर कहीं घर खरीदना है, मैं उनको बोलूंगा मैं ये कंपनी में कांटेक्ट करके, and they will guide me कि ये डेवलपर्स का ये प्रोजेक्ट है, and you can buy there.
Absolutely. And most of them, they are not biased for any particular developer. They will give you a very genuine feedback, and they want to work for the customer. After all, you know, everybody has to work for the customer, and they have to understand what the customer's requirement is and suggest them accordingly.
Yeah.
And that's the change that has happened in the past few years. Yeah.
Also, Sharvil bhai, I guess दूसरा एक segment of buyers here जो होते हैं वो होते हैं investors. You know, now investors का mindset बहुत ही अलग होता है. Like, you know, एक X amount उन्होंने invest करा and the Y returns that they are expecting in,
correct,
let's say Z time.
Correct.
So how important are this category of people for any project that you're doing, and how do you cater these people?
Right. So once again, you know, investors are the group of people who usually would come and buy with us in the start of our project, because that's when we have exceptional prices. There are special packages that we have created, and by the end of the project, once the project is developed, you have a nice value that you have created out of the project, and that's when they usually exit. So investors, there are a few long-term investors, there are a few short-term investors, and now a lot of these investors would like to park money in land, and that's why we created a nice NA land plotting project concept, where they can, you know, to buy a land is a very difficult task from a you know, from a farmer, because most of them are not educated, they are not very organized, and that is why it is very
Trust
easy.
me, I know exactly what you're talking.
And that is why you want to buy from a respectable company where legally everything is sorted, and you know, you are ready to pay that much bit of premium for buying that land from a organized developer. And we have created a lot of projects in the recent past where we are giving NA lands, and because land has given phenomenal returns historically. Like if you look at the data in past, say 30, 40 or 50 years, I think land has,
I think even before that, you know, our ancestors used to say that, you know, invest in two things in life. One would be gold and second would be land. That's what I've heard.
Absolutely.
You know, so
and the best part is that after any calamity, or like, you know, after any disaster or anything, usually you always have a spike in this kind of assets. And you know, that's, you take demonetization, you take earthquake, you take riots, you take COVID. Real estate had always like, you know, sprung back even higher. And historically, every time it has given phenomenal returns. So if you spread it out over a decade, then I think probably this is one asset which would give you the highest returns in any other, compared to any other investments. The only minus point could be that it is not a liquid thing. Like if you
so
would
you have to park your funds for a longer time.
But then on the second flip side of the coin, the value can never go zero. Like, you know, if you would invest in a share market, then you have a chance that something goofs up by a company, then the value could just go down, and it could be anything to zero. But land always appreciates it.
I've seen this trend, you know, in my generation, that after COVID, a lot of people are going haywire in the direction of share market, not understanding the various, I mean, the basic principles of investing and trading in stocks, and the risk that it comes with.
Correct.
Right? Luckily, I have been well aware of the thing that you know, land investment or बाकी सब चीजें क्या होती है apart from stocks, and have I would not say rather invest, but I've learned those things and principles from my family.
Correct.
Coming from a privileged background. Now जब मैं देखता हूँ कि लोग अंधे होके एकदम भाग रहे हैं पीछे कि स्टॉक्स में डाल दो, ये डाल दो, I always think of safe investment first rather than thinking कि मुझे 3 महीने में अगर 40% return मिल रहा है, there is something fishy.
Yeah.
I function that way because I have seen, like, I've seen and understood the basic क्या बोलते हैं फ्रेज जो है लाइफ का, कि सब्र का फल मीठा होता है.
Yeah.
और आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं ये लैंड वाली चीज जो है ना, जो हमको सिखाई गई है बचपन में, वो अभी भी बहुत हेल्प कर रही है कि बेटा सब्र रखो, उसका फल मीठा ही आता है. या फ्रूट मजा ही आएगा खाने का.
So only see, I mean, the flip side is that to buy a land you need at least some kind of significant amount of money.
Yeah.
In share markets you can even invest 100 rupees or
Yeah.
1000 rupees, right? So that is the flip side. Second, it is very convenient. You can just download an app and start investing. For land, you have to there is a process.
There's
you
a
have
process
to
that you have
find
to
a
follow.
trustable developer. You have to look at the land. You have to understand the dynamics around the land and the neighborhood and why this would give you good returns. So there is a process. But then, as you rightly said, the people who are matured, majority of our investor segment, they fall in the age group of say around 40 to 60, because they have seen it all. They have seen making money, they have seen losing money, and now they have realized that okay, this is one safe investment and this is what I want to give to my next generation, which is very safe. This is something which is going to give me good returns for my future retirement. So I think the matured guys who are getting to this age and they have made a significant amount of savings now, and they have that amount of money to invest into land. So but investors are absolutely critical, and usually to this industry, I mean, and I think this industry has also given so much of growth to this segment.
And again, coming down at the last part of this, probably, vertical, which is important for your business, and those are customers. I think we have catered most of the points about talking about customers here, but I would just like to know how important are the end customers for you.
So recently I was having a conversation with our creative team, and I have a business coach who helps me, who guides me, and getting better in the way I'm practicing my
polishing
business.
up your skills.
And I was just discussing with him, there was a nice question put up around by those guys, that which are the companies that you feel that A. Shridhar would want to follow? Like,
the real estate companies in India.
No, not real estate companies. It could be any companies. Like in terms of practices, in terms of business principles. And then we shortlisted 3 companies. And the first one, we made a long list, because I wanted to be like a lot of good successful companies.
And it's about taking some kind of good things from all of them.
But then, like, which are the 3 companies where most of the things you can relate to?
Most of the thing intersects rather.
Correct. And so the first one was Apple, because they innovate. Right, they innovate a lot. They're very innovative. They are always glamorous, but yet simple. And you would always feel they are always a very grounded company. You take Steve Jobs, you take Tim Cook, and you don't feel they are flashy people. Neither are we as owners. But yet our product is glamorous, and our product is flashy, or our product is something which is very innovative.
Somebody who is proud to have,
somebody who
possess that.
To possess that. I'm like, he would be proud that okay, the project next to मैं उससे अच्छा A. Shridhar के project में रहा. So that feel of pride is there. Second company that we felt was Adidas, and why? Because Adidas has a very good vision statement. The vision statement is, I don't remember the exact words, but it not only caters to customers, but it also focuses on growth of its company, and talks about how it wants to grow. The company wants to grow along with the employees of the company. So they are also looking at the employee part. They are looking at growth of every individual who is involved with the company. So it's a very beautiful statement where they're not only talking about customer, there is something related to customer, but then they're also saying something which is related to smallest of the small employee who is part of making Adidas successful.
Yeah,
And
correct.
that is something which we also are very, very closely associated with our employees. Our company WhatsApp group says A Shridhar family. We
Yeah.
and like we have got great emotions attached to each of them. And the third brand is actually there are third brand is a discussion between two of them. There is Tata, which is an Indian brand,
Yes.
and that is because my father has been somebody who has been driven a lot by strong ethics and principles.
Yeah.
And Tata is also a very, very ethical company.
Yes.
And we have left alone deals because of ethics. We have not gone unethical into some things, even though we have seen more profit into that. And we have very, very strong principles, and that has come because of my father. And he's never stopped me doing it, but I've always seen him practicing so much of strong ethics. And it started with fear of disappointing my father, but now it
Yeah.
is in my blood. I can see that I cannot do unethical stuff. So and I think the Tatas are like that, right?
Yes. Very
And
much.
but I was kind of in dilemma with the other brand, which is Amazon. And
Yeah.
why? Because very recently we are working on a program inside our company where uh, in all of our conversations it is the customer first attitude. And I think Amazon brought about this huge change or innovation where if you are not happy with the product for whatever reason, it could be that you have bought a product at an X price and tomorrow you are getting a product at a better discount and you just want to return it. They are fine
Yeah.
with it. I mean, which other company would do that? Like,
Yeah.
you're getting a product cheaper. Sorry, sir, but they already sold it to you. That's what they would
Yeah.
say. But Amazon says, okay, you can return it back. You know, um, I think the complaint process, everything related to Amazon says the customer first attitude. They are,
Correct.
I think, customer obsessed company, right?
Yeah.
And
Correct.
I think that is what now we are principally working on. And I think that's how we, as a real estate developer company, could be different from my other competitors.
Yeah.
So that's how it's placed right
It
now.
has
Yeah,
been.
yeah,
Correct, correct. I mean, it's just lovely to just get this insight about different companies that you said and what are you aiming in terms, because as I said, I really believe that you are somebody with a vision to make really India go global.
oh yeah. I'm a
So
big time patriot.
yeah, yeah. And with this statement about the companies that you really want to follow in your path of probably growing up, sorry, growing up and onwards. So this is really that you're following and talking about growth and talking about getting India on a global scale. We have the concept of finance and tech cities just going around, blooming around and making super big headlines across India, with Gift City in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and a couple of more finance and tech cities across India, at different cities in India. And of course, some of the cities, which is a vision and a long time process that we have been hearing about, is the Dholera city
Correct.
here
Yes.
surrounding Ahmedabad. So how is your group thinking to go parallel with the growth that this opportunity that the government has given to somebody and some group like yours, along with the people of the nation, to go and grow together? How do you see that, and how what do you think about that, and how you want to grow along with that?
Right. I think we are very lucky to be in Ahmedabad right now. Trust me, I have friends all across the country, and people are so jealous of us because Ahmedabad is like a favorite son of our PM. Yeah,
Yes.
and Ahmedabad has been getting all the attention in the country, right from all the diplomats or big nation ministers visiting first to Ahmedabad
Yes.
in the past few years. Now, even there are talks of Olympics coming to Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
Um, and Gujarat has been very, very lucky with so many new industries coming here. Like, it never used to be an auto hub, and now suddenly it is a big
Yeah.
auto industry.
Correct.
All the supporting industries to autos have also come. Now I think it is the semiconductor plants that are coming.
Yeah.
And Gujarat has the biggest solar manufacturing plants. Adani, Reliance, Tata's, everyone wants to be part of this growth story in Ahmedabad. And obviously, Gift City is the big pet
Yeah.
project of our PM, and it is turning out beautiful. We may anytime in future would love to be part of our PM's vision, and we have in the past applied 2 times in the auction, but somehow we've not been lucky enough to get through
Yeah.
to develop. But maybe sooner or later we see ourselves that we could be developing something meaningful out there.
Yeah.
And you talked about the other projects that are other big government projects that are coming, say Tolera, and
Yeah.
and I see that there is going to be tremendous growth around. And if India is lucky enough to get Olympics 2036, then I'm sure Ahmedabad is going to be the city where it's going to be conducted, and
Yeah.
that would give so many opportunities to the developers who are working here. There'll be so much of housing requirements, so much of commercial requirements that will come up, so much of colleges, and so much. It will give so much of boost to sports infrastructure. And I think as a Shridhar Group, we will surely be part of that story. Recently, we also gave a gift to the city by constructing a multi-speciality hospital for the corporation.
Yeah.
And we developed in an area. We were lucky to get a land parcel in Sheelaj area, where we have delivered more than 1,000 apartments.
Correct.
And it's a beautiful PPP model where the land belonged to the government. We constructed it for the city, and now they are going to operate it, because it is our expertise is only to develop,
Yeah.
and we developed it for them. And the kind of, I think, blessings that we have got by doing that. Now father is inspired by it, and now he's
Some
pledged
work
to
of
develop one more hospital in Bavla. So
Yeah.
that's an even bigger hospital that is coming up. And I think we as a group always want to give back to the society. So yes, in some or the other way, we will participate in this growth story.
I mean, certainly, we would love to see the group, strive and grow along with this vision that you talked about, and the different cities and the different development projects that are coming our way surrounding Ahmedabad and in the Gujarat state itself. Apart from the growing economy of India, um, there are a lot of people who also believe in economic living now, that is just not only in terms of money, but also they are looking for a greener life
Yeah.
with with the advancement of solar panels being on the rooftop, Har Ghar Solar Yojana, and with the rainwater harvesting system coming down for water. So ये सब चीजें जितनी भी इन्वेंट होती जा रही है, we are being conscious about saving planet, and ऐसी सब चीजें यूज करें जो ज्यादा टाइम तक रहने वाली है हमारे साथ. So I have also seen this common practice with developers and with different people incorporating all these things like EV car charging and everything. So how do you look forward for the future of A Shridhar Group in different areas and with different projects where you
Correct.
can integrate all of these things?
Correct. So I think this is something which is not just a change, but it is almost a social responsibility. That as a
Yeah.
developer, whenever we are creating something on a barren land, we are in some way or the other kind of causing some kind of harm to the nature. Right?
Yeah.
So construction is a business which or is a industry where it is causing a lot of harm to nature. Unlike factories, we don't produce smoke, but obviously we are eating upon the trees and we are constructing something
Yeah.
meaningful. So, but there is a way where we can neutralize this, and as a a good corporate company, we recently also developed. We took it from the corporation and we developed a nice big oxygen park in the area in Sheelaj itself again. Second, whatever homes or projects that we are doing, we are making a very conscious effort to make or use sustainable products, environment friendly products, have good products where you have what do you call, conservative water usage,
Yeah.
conservative power usage. Obviously, solar we are providing for all the common amenities. So all the common power that is usually for all our projects is on solar. So almost 50 to 60% of the bills are subsidized because of that.
Yeah.
And that is one gift which we are giving to all our members whenever we deliver a project. And there are n number of other things. There is a x number of requirement of trees or plantation which is given for a project as a norm. At least 1.5x times of plantation is being done by us. And not only do we plant our trees in the project, if we get an opportunity, then we plant trees on the dividers where the big roads are.
Yeah.
We take it from the corporation and we ask them that we want to develop, we want to plant in this area, and make it more green. I always feel a little bit guilty of
Yeah.
causing harm to the nature by constructing, and I think some way or the other we have an opportunity to neutralize it. In our remote projects we have got great opportunities because those are weekend homes and it is all about nature.
Yeah.
It's less about architecture, and that's where we realized recently we got an opportunity of a lake which was in a terrible situation.
Okay.
The villagers used to dump a lot of waste there, and we have created a very beautiful lake out of that. And there's a nice walkway surrounding it, and there's beautiful landscape surrounding the lake, and we have created a nice island in middle of the lake, and
Yeah.
so many migratory birds have started flocking into that lake right now. So one way or the other, we have always I think it's the guilt more
Yeah.
than anything else, but we have always felt very responsible to do something for for nature friendly things. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think people are moving on from, living a very very stagnant life to a greener life now,
Correct.
where people are adapting. They're understanding कि भाई thermal engines या जो भी है उसका सब्स्टिट्यूट ईवीज है. अगेन देयर इज अ लॉन्ग डिबेट गोइंग अराउंड कि भाई ईवी बनने में ये लगता है वो लगता है, बट मोटा मोटा आई थिंक फॉर सिटी कम्यूट्स एंड एवरीथिंग पीपल आर गोइंग
Towards EV, yeah.
towards EVs. They're using solar panels in their home for electricity production,
Correct.
and bunch of these small things like rainwater harvesting system to conserve the water that they're gonna drink for the
Yeah.
entire year.
Correct.
सो ये सब चीज़ें बहुत ही मैटर करती है, और लोगों का आई थिंक ये तरफ भी जा रहा है इवेंचुअली, एंड डेवलपर्स एंड द रियल एस्टेट ग्रुप्स आर आल्सो रियलाइजिंग दिस फैक्ट, एंड प्रॉब्ली somebody like you are also integrating those things into it.
Absolutely.
So let's say, talking about future, what does A. Sridhar holds in future for, let's say, the end consumers or end people, or let's say consumer of A. Sridhar?
Oh, lots of exciting projects are lying ahead of in the future. I think something that excites me is the most, it has been taking away my sleep for the past few days, is an iconic structure that we are planning.
Okay.
At a very, very, very iconic location. And it's a 100-meter plus tower. So
Okay.
about, say, 30 floors. And this is the
Okay.
first time we are going for a skyscraper like this. And I think very soon Ahmedabad is going to have a very amazing skyline because
Yeah.
of the new norms that the government have.
They're implementing.
They're
Yeah.
implementing, and they have given more height and more FSI to go more taller.
Yeah.
And it is the buildings that define the skyline of a city, and it's the skyline of the city that creates a beautiful city, right?
Impact, yeah.
I mean, when you talk about New York, or you always talk about Manhattan and how the
Yes.
beautiful skyscrapers are.
Yes.
So there's a lot to talk about Ahmedabad, but I am sure that in the near future, a good skyline will also be part of that topic.
Correct.
And we'll be having a few skyscrapers
Of
with
course,
A.
of
Sridhar
course.
amongst that.
I hope that most of would be from A. Sridhar.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, that's very
So
nice.
also this thing that I always ask to my guest before we sign off for the podcast, coming and somebody who is very closely related to music, I always end up asking people that, what is that one song or that one genre that my guest always listen to when they, let's say, feel negative about things in life, or probably at a stage, even if they are happy and they're listening to a song, or any situation that comes up in their life, and how music helps them.
Right.
That same question would go down for you as well. So,
Yeah.
what would you listen, and
No,
how do you cope up with that?
I think very recently I had a tough time going in my career in terms of there were a lot of things piled up, and very correctly you said that music helped me to get that meditation, that give me that happy space. And for a brief period of time, I was playing flute,
Okay.
and actually the kind of what do you call, the kind of peace that it gave me while I was playing it was phenomenal.
Is that the reason why the new scheme is called Vaikunt?
No, it has no connection. It was a very brief period where I started playing flute. That was the reason was different, but then the kind of peace it gave to my mind while playing it, and the kind of soothingness a music instrument
It
brings
calms
to
you.
it calms your mind.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to my happy space, and I regret that I'm not playing it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is something which I would like to play all long life. And coming to a song, I mean, there's this song from Uri. It is Jagga Jitya.
Yeah.
It's a very fast track, energetic
Yes.
song. And whether I'm happy, I'm down, or I'm in a neutral mood, I think this song brings me so much of energy, and it feels like I can face anything in this world.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of energy that song has. That is one song which I would always
your
fall
go-to
back.
song
Yeah, it's my
for-
go-to song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, thank you so much for giving this insight about the song as well. I really loved that, coming and loving music so dearly, and being me being so passionate about music like you are for real estate. So that's a really good thing to know, and I hope music keeps helping you with all the all the hurdles that might be coming down in future, and you overcome all of them with your passion, and of course some music giving you some little boost to go through those hurdles.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward for more future projects from A. Sridhar, maybe a part of it in future, and certainly looking forward to associate and get this synergy going between both of us.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Yash bhai, for having this podcast. And I also wish you great luck.
Thank you.
You are doing some phenomenal albums, and I wish you get national prosperity
Thank
very
you.
soon, and you can break some amazing records in future.
Yes, as we say that we're going to grow together, and probably growing together, and the things that we are probably ending the podcast with, we might end up discussing the achievements in the later version of the second part of the podcast.
Sure,
for
we
sure.
should. Yeah.
So thank you so much for for all the wishes that's coming my way, and again, all the best, and thank you for being the part of the Yash Desai podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends and family. You can stream all the episodes now on all the major streaming services. See you in the next episode.
Hello, guys. Please subscribe to the Yash Desai podcast.